During my travels across the vast and varied lands of Toril, few places have captured my attention as deeply as Zakhara, the Land of Fate. This distant peninsula, isolated by the treacherous World Pillar Mountains and surrounded by pirate-infested seas, is a land steeped in mystery and ancient power. The very air in Zakhara carries a sense of the arcane, a whisper of secrets long hidden within its deserts, oases and mountains. As I ventured south, far beyond the familiar territories of Faerun, I found myself in a world where the boundaries between the mundane and the mystical blur, where powerful genies meddle in the affairs of mortals, and where the exotic magic practiced by the Shairs defies all conventional understanding. Zakhara is a land of contrasts. Its deserts, vast and unyielding, stretch out like an endless sea of sand, punctuated by lush oases that provide a stark contrast to the harsh environment. These oases are not merely places of respite, they are vibrant ecosystems teeming with life. Palm trees sway gently in the warm breeze, their fronds rustling softly above pools of crystal clear water. The flora of these oases is a showcase of the resilience of life in Zakhara, with date palms, fig trees, and tamarisk bushes thriving alongside colourful flowers that bloom even in the most arid conditions. The fauna, too, is uniquely adapted to the desert's extremes, with gazelles and oryxes grazing in the cool shade while hawks and eagles soar above, ever watchful for their next meal. But it is in the hill country of Zakhara that I found the most profound connection to the land. Here the terrain shifts from the barren desert to rolling hills covered in verdant greenery. These hills are dotted with groves of olive and pomegranate trees, their fruit ripening under the warm sun, and wild herbs such as rosemary, thyme and lavender grow in abundance, filling the air with their heady scents. The hills are home to a variety of creatures, from the elusive Zakhara lynx to the graceful mountain goats that navigate the rocky slopes with ease. Raptors like hawks and eagles are a common sight, their keen eyes scanning the ground below for prey. It is a land where the natural world thrives, largely untouched by the encroachment of civilization. The people of Zakhara are as diverse and complex as the land they inhabit. The Zakharans, with their brown skin, dark hair, and relatively small stature, are a proud and cultured people. Steeped in the traditions of enlightenment, they consider themselves more civilized than the rest of the world, a belief reflected in their interactions with outsiders, whom they often view as barbarians. This cultural pride is perhaps most evident in their capital, Huzuz, the City of Delights, where the Grand Caliph rules from his palace, overseeing a theocracy that blends governance with spiritual authority. Despite their isolation, the Zakharans are not entirely cut off from the rest of Toril. Traders from Faerun, driven by the allure of Zakhara's exotic goods and magics, brave the dangerous journey to the Land of Fate. These traders often speak of demon-infested cities and godless sorcerers, tales that only add to the mystique of this distant land. However, only a few Zakharans venture beyond their homeland, and those who do are typically found in the far south of Faerun, mingling with the peoples of Kalimshan and the Bedain. It was in this remote hill country that I encountered one of Zakhara's most legendary creatures, the Simurgh. My journey to this distant land was driven by tales of the ancient bird, a being steeped in both myth and reverence, its wisdom said to rival that of even the most learned scholars. It was not curiosity alone that led me here, but a deep-seated need to understand the bond between this creature and the land it so fiercely protects. As I traversed the rocky paths surrounded by groves of olive and pomegranate trees, the air thick with the scent of wild herbs, I felt a presence unlike any other. The wind carried with it a faint melodic sound, an ethereal whisper that seemed to beckon me deeper into the wilderness. It was as if the very air itself was alive, guiding me towards something ancient and powerful. My path led me to a secluded valley, cradled between towering peaks, where the sky seemed to touch the earth. It was here that I first saw the Simurgh. The creature was magnificent beyond description, its feathers shimmering in the sunlight, each plume reflecting a different metallic hue, copper, gold and silver, mingling in a display of otherworldly beauty. Its wings, 2 pairs of them, stretched wide, casting a shadow over the land, while its eyes, human-like and filled with a deep, knowing wisdom, gazed directly at me. There was no fear in those eyes, only a profound sense of peace and understanding. Yet, as I approached, the Simurgh seemed to sense something within me, perhaps the burden of the knowledge I carry, or the weight of the countless tomes I've studied in Candlekeep. Whatever it was, the creature tilted its head slightly, then with a grace that belied its immense size, it began to ascend into the sky. The metallic shimmer of its feathers caught the light, and for a brief moment it appeared as though the sun itself was rising from the valley. I knew then that the Simurgh did not trust me, not yet at least. The creature, despite its ancient wisdom, or perhaps because of it, was wary of my presence. It did not speak to me directly, as I had hoped. Instead, it communicated with the countless birds that accompanied it, a vast and diverse flock that seemed to follow the Simurgh as if it were their king. The air was filled with the sound of their calls, a symphony of chirps, squawks and whistles that I could not fully comprehend. I tried to listen, to understand their meaning, but the language of birds is subtle, filled with nuances that eluded even my trained ear. As the Simurgh soared higher, its wings cutting through the air with a power that sent gusts of wind rushing through the valley, I called out to the flock, speaking in the language of the air elementals, a tongue I had learned during my early studies. "I mean no harm," I said, my voice carried on the wind. "I seek only to learn, to understand the bond you share with this land." The birds responded, though their words were cryptic. They spoke of the Simurgh as a guardian, a protector of the balance between the earth and sky, between life and death. They told me that the Simurgh was older than the mountains, older than the rivers that carved their way through the land. It had seen empires rise and fall, had watched as mortals waged their petty wars, always from a distance, always maintaining the balance. But they also spoke of a deep sadness, a weariness that had settled into the Simurgh's heart over the centuries. The creature had grown tired of the greed and destruction it had witnessed, of the endless cycle of birth and death that seemed to bring more pain than joy. The Simurgh had withdrawn from the world, retreating to the highest peaks, where it could be alone with its thoughts, far from the reach of mortals. As I listened, I realized that the Simurgh did not trust me because it had been betrayed before by those who sought its feathers, its eggs, and its power. Too many had come before me with promises of peace, only to reveal their true intentions once the creature had let down its guard. The Simurgh had learned to be cautious, to protect itself from those who would exploit its gifts for their own gain. I watched as the Simurgh flew higher, the light of the sun catching on its feathers one last time, before it disappeared into the clouds. The birds that had accompanied it lingered for a moment, circling above me as if trying to decide whether I was friend or foe. I spoke to them once more in the language of the air, and this time I asked them to deliver a message to their king. "Tell the Simurgh that I will return," I said. "Not to take, but to give. I will bring knowledge, not weapons. I will bring peace, not war. And perhaps in time the Simurgh will see that not all mortals are to be feared." The birds seemed to consider my words before they too took to the sky, following their king into the heavens. I remained in the valley for some time, pondering what I'd learned and what I still had yet to understand. The Simurgh, first described in the monstrous compendium Al-Qadim Appendix in 1992, remains one of the most fascinating creatures to emerge from the lands of Zakhara. Known as the King of Birds, the Simurgh is a gargantuan avian creature with a wingspan of 20 feet, 2 pairs of golden wings, and a human face, features that evoke both awe and mystery. Its feathers, a metallic orange hue, shimmer with otherworldly light, adding to its majestic appearance. The Simurgh's long tail feathers, which can spread into a dazzling fan, are a symbol of its beauty and power, capable of mesmerizing all who behold them. In its original 2nd edition form, the Simurgh was a solitary creature, found only in the warm hills and mountains of Zakhara. It was a being of immense intelligence with a genius-level intellect, 17, 18, capable of communicating with all birds and air creatures, including air elementals and Sakina. The Simurgh's alignment was always lawful good, and it was known to aid and protect those who followed a similar path. Despite its formidable physical abilities, the Simurgh was a pacifist at heart, avoiding combat whenever possible, preferring instead to use its dazzling tail feathers to hypnotize and disarm potential threats. The creature's combat abilities, while rarely used, were still formidable. With an armor class of 1, a movement speed of 3, and a flight speed of 48, the Simurgh could traverse the skies with ease. It had 10+10 hit dice, a THAC 0 of 11, and could attack twice per round with its razor-sharp wing buffets, each dealing 2 16 points of damage. However, the Simurgh's true power lay in its spell-like abilities. At will, it could cast Detect Invisibility, know alignment, infravision, shape change into a small bird or human, and speak with animals/monsters, birds and avian creatures only. These abilities, combined with its hypnotic tail display, made the Simurgh a creature to be respected and revered rather than feared. The ecology and societal behaviours of the Simurgh further emphasise its role as a guardian of the natural world. Simurghs are solitary creatures, with about 65% being female. They are often accompanied by a court of birds, which might include everything from small songbirds to giant eagles and even rocks. These courts, however, are rarely seen near human habitation, as the Simurgh prefers the solitude of the mountains and hills. Mating occurs only once every 6 years, with the pair retreating to a secluded mountain cavern to raise their young. The young Simurghs, while helpless, still possess the dazzling tail ability, making them a sight to behold even in their infancy. The Simurgh's lack of interest in material wealth sets it apart from many other creatures of its power level. It keeps no treasure, and its true value lies in its feathers, which, if freely given, are imbued with potent magic. A single feather can radiate continual light and hypnotize all who see it, and it's a crucial ingredient in the creation of a potion of rainbow hues or a robe of scintillating colors. These feathers can also be used to inscribe scrolls for spells like color spray, hypnotic pattern, prismatic spray, prismatic wall, and prismatic sphere. Adapting the Simurgh to the 5th edition rule set required maintaining the creature's core characteristics while updating its abilities to fit the modern game. The Simurgh remains a gargantuan celestial, with an armor class of 20 and nearly 400 hit points, reflecting its resilience and divine nature. Its spellcasting abilities have been preserved and expanded, allowing it to cast powerful spells like Prismatic Spray and Prismatic Wall. The hypnotic tail display has been adapted into a feature called Hypnotic Display, which forces all who gaze upon it to make a saving throw or be charmed and incapacitated. The Simurgh's role as a guardian is emphasized through its legendary and lair actions, which allow it to influence its environment and protect its territory. In its lair, typically a secluded mountain cavern, the Simurgh can call upon the natural world to heal its allies or restrain its enemies, reinforcing its connection to the land it so deeply cherishes. The Simurgh's presence in any campaign is not merely as a powerful creature to be defeated, but as a guardian and guide. It offers players a glimpse into the deeper mysteries of the world, serving as a symbol of the balance between the celestial and the natural, between the need for protection and the desire for peace. To encounter a Simurgh is to engage with a piece of the world's ancient past, to stand in the presence of a creature that has seen the rise and fall of empires, and to perhaps gain insight into the deeper workings of the universe. My name is AJ Pickett. As always, thanks for listening, and I will be back with more for you very soon.